Back from California, I received 2 dental implants, requiring me to wait 3 weeks before hitting the road again. With my daughter Laura on spring break, we headed south from Longmont, Colorado. As we passed through Colorado Springs, we saw the famed Pikes Peak, our next day's destination, ensconced in clouds. We were headed to the Great Sand Dunes National Park. On Highway 160, we passed the red flag warning for high winds. The weather was not the best. Still, the views were beautiful. In the visitor center, we learned that through the years, creeks and streams brought large amounts of sediment and sand into the valley. Wind, which we certainly were experiencing, blew the trapped sand toward the bend in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Laura and I remembered visiting the dunes some 35 years earlier in better weather. During blizzard-like conditions, we found another brave soul willing to hold our camera for a quick picture. That evening, we enjoyed the Pueblo, Colorado KOA campground. The next morning, it was a perfect day to visit the Garden of the Gods. Once privately owned, the park is now run by the city of Colorado Springs. From the park, Pikes Peak dominated the view. It was a perfect day for videos and pictures. I was interested in the Canadian geese enjoying their view from way above. Next, it was to the top of Pikes Peak on the Pikes Peak Cog Railroad. Traveling along that morning, Laura asked me about my past Pikes Peak adventures. I was surprised that from my 3rd grade history class, the phrase Pikes Peak or bust lay indelibly in my memory. I had learned that it was the cry of the people who rushed to the area when gold was discovered in 1859, and of later pioneers who used the mountain as a place to aim as they traveled westward. As we waited for the train at the station, we learned that today would be a bust day. Snow and high winds would prevent us from climbing to the very top. Still, it was another great adventure. Being on one of the 3 cog railroads in the United States, we were able to take on the very steep inclines of track as we rode through the pine forests. Pikes Peak was named after the early explorer Lieutenant Zebulon Pike, who spotted the mountain on his 2nd expedition. Much earlier, the Native American Utes had named it Tavakavi, meaning Sun Mountain. Soon we were above the tree line looking down on an incredibly beautiful world below. We reached a little over 13,000 feet before stopping for 10 minutes and heading back down. From the front of the train, we could see the cogs in the track. We could also see the steep track ahead over which we would not be climbing. Heading downward, we were mollified a little by a text saying we would be receiving a 30% refund. Despite the high winds, it was a perfect day to walk through the Garden of the Gods and to climb almost to the top of the famed Pikes Peak.